Hello, my name is Tina, and I want to walk you through why I'm a good fit for this content and social media manager position, and hopefully we can have a conversation as next steps. So a little bit about what I saw from this particular role. When I looked at it, I kind of saw three projects come to mind. One, there's a content repurposing engine. Two, we can build a distribution engine. And three, we want to be able to have some tracking and measurement as part of the process. Now, when I looked at the specific role, it looks like you already have base content, meaning you have content that you've already created in the past, which is good because what that tells me is that you already have the original thought leadership and the content piece in place. And that's going to be so critical because when we are leveraging automations or AI to help amplify your voice, it's really important that the source content itself is actually original, because I believe, in my personal opinion, AI and automation should be applied towards repurposing and distribution, but the original thought of the content should come from you as the human, because that's where you provide the most value. But also it makes sure that your original content doesn't, get tainted by AI slop, because the original thought content is from you. Now, in terms of the process on what this would look like from a repurposing agent side, it looks like you already have, we have an intake where you have video interviews, you have white papers, you have probably a previous backlog of all of your content. The first thing that I'm going to recommend that you do is actually put it into an Airtable database. And so it's so important for you to put it into a database because you want to have one source of truth of where all your content lives. Now, in terms of how it can get to this database, there are a couple different options. Either you can manually upload all these content pieces into this Airtable database, or perhaps you can probably create a set of automations where, let's just say we have a new white paper that automatically gets published. We can automatically put it into the Airtable database as an example. And I'm a Zapier solutions partner, so I can build those data pipelines so that we can put everything in Airtable. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to put it in Airtable is because we could perhaps create an automation where we turn every piece of asset, so whether it's a video interview, a white paper, or anything like that, into a piece of content. And that's going to be really essential, because once we actually have this database in place, we can perhaps trigger the automations to execute that. And the way that we do that is we have a specialized set of agents that we can build. We have carousels agents in terms of their whole, premise of why they exist is to create really high converting carousels. We have an overlay video agent, and then we have a thread agent, and then we have many more agents. I just want to show a couple examples of what currently could exist in your business. But perhaps, let's just say we have a white paper and we want to turn into a carousel, then we're going to go ahead and invoke the carousels agent. If we wanted to turn into every single piece of content, whether it's a thread, an overlay video, a carousels agent, then we can also do that as well. But my goal at the end of the day is to put everything in one place so that we can build the automations that can invoke or start these agents and create all those content pieces automatically more at the end of the day. Now, I also mentioned, or I also saw that you want an approval layer. So I think we can see this as an approval layer, because what essentially would happen is in this database, let's just say we have an asset and then we invoke these agents to create all the assets for that part, create all the content for that specific asset. Then you could probably just get notified and just have an approval piece where you can say, that looks good, move forward, let's go ahead and send it to schedule and distribution. And so I think the only area that's really important is just to have this layer be where you spend your time, rather than all these other things like building carousels, trying to do aspect ratios. That's not worth your time. What's worth your time is in the creation of the original thought leadership and in the approvals to make sure that it's good to go in your brand voice and it doesn't look like AI slop, as an example. And the way that we do that is, so long as your original content is then it won't be AI slop. And on top of that, we can also make sure that we program these agents to really be specialized in your voice and trained on your brand guidelines. So after we have the approval layer, it's important to put this into a distribution agent. Now, the reason why I recommend an agent versus a scheduler is because usually when a person's posting on a scheduler, maybe they're not They're just choosing the next block as opposed to scheduling it and optimizing it per time for every specific platform. And so that could be very tedious work. And so I have a distribution agent where it actually optimizes the scheduling of the post to every single platform at the most engaged time of that specific platform. And it's really, at this point, like, we set up this distribution agent once, we set it up for testing, and then once when it goes through approval, then we can automatically schedule and it'll be good to go. So it can publish to TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, Twitter, LinkedIn, and perhaps any other platform that is available to you. That's just something to consider with this distribution agent. So not only does this distribution agent optimize for sending time, that it can also optimize and reformat the content piece to the specific aspect ratios or to the specific preferences of the platform. So as an example, let's just say we have a carousels agent and we create a whole set of images for carousels. What the distribution agent would see is like, and identify as like, this is a carousels agent. Let me go ahead and, make sure to transition this into a PDF so it can show up as a PDF on LinkedIn as an example. And so the distribution agent not only optimizes for sending time, but optimizes to make sure that it's within the right aspects or requirements of every specific platform. Then we get to our last kind of piece here, which is measurement. My assumption is that you're not creating content for content's sake, but you are creating content for not only visibility, but also for tracking towards your specific conversion event and looking at kind of the job that we see here. Your specific qualifying sign up or conversion event is a qualified sign up from an accredited angel curious investor. So if we know that that is the conversion event, that's also going to help inform us on the training piece of all these agents to make sure that we are speaking the language of these types of investors as well. But back to this piece of like, how do we measure? Well, the first thing that I would measure is make sure that, since we're creating content on every specific platform, I want to be able to put UTM links on those platforms in like kind of like the call to action, because the call to action for every single piece of content is like, hey, do this, sign up for this, XYZ, right? And so we're going to direct them to a specific link where that specific link is going to have a UTM to track, hey, this lead came from XYZ platform. And the goal of doing this is we want to identify which platforms are performing the best. And so when we identify those platforms, maybe if we decide later down the line to do paid traffic, we can already have that data and say like, well, organically, we're doing really great on LinkedIn as an example. So maybe we want to put our paid spend towards LinkedIn because our organic content is already doing a really great job of that. The next piece is you want to track it towards some nurture event. So you could do direct to conversion or it could be direct to sign up. Then my personal opinion, what I always recommend is to have an in-between step, which is the newsletter or the nurture piece, because here's the thing, like not everybody is going to be ready to sign up for your specific product right then and there. And so because they're not ready to sign up for your product right then and there, what we want to do is make sure that we kind of have like a catch opportunity, right? And so people want to sign up for your newsletter and maybe you can redirect them to this conversion event. So like the traffic would be like sign up and then we can redirect to the URL for conversion. Or if anyone doesn't sign up right then and there, good thing that we put them on a newsletter because then we can email them and put them on a sequence. And when we put them on a sequence, we can really track with that welcome sequence, like, okay, how many people clicked? And if they clicked but perhaps didn't buy, then perhaps we can put them on, like we can follow up with them automatically. This is the opportunity that we're creating at the end of the day. We want to be able to really be strategic of like, how are we optimizing for every specific platform, but how are we tracking the nurture piece to make sure that we not only attract the individuals that want to sign up right then and there, but we also have the catch up for the individuals that don't sign up right then and there. And then we can nurture them on a sequence and then we can automatically follow up with them as well. So hopefully I shared with you that I have the expertise. I'm a Zapier solutions partner. I have worked with many different creators and I also have kind of just been in this funnel world, this game that we're playing for a long time. I built agents for myself and for other businesses. And so hopefully we can continue the conversation from there. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.